Hey, we're Jess
and Erin.
Just two normal moms and saved women who love Jesus, deep conversations, and a good laugh.
On Well Within Her, we talk about the hard, the holy, and the hilarious parts of being a woman in today's world.
This is just your space to exhale, to stop striving and start living aligned with the truth.
Because the truth is, when Christ is within her, she already has everything she needs.
We're so glad you're here. Hit subscribe and come hang out with us every week.
Welcome to episode 2 of Well Within Her podcast.
I already was looking at the wrong spot. I was just like, no, just wrong. Look down.
Look down at the box.
Okay.
Okay.
Welcome. Thank you. Happy to be here.
Oh, today's going to be a great day. I can sense it already. We are just really ready to go. So today we are on episode 2, and we wanted to take a little bit just to talk about us, not to sound conceited, but from humble beginnings, just about
it's important to get to know people that you're listening to so that you can know, like, trust,
right.
Know somebody before you can like them.
Exactly. So that's our intention for today is we're going to talk how we got where we're at, how we got to our church, how we became friends, how our husbands became friends, because that's a whole thing. Dating, friending while married is a thing.
Actually, side note, just Sunday, 2 days ago, Joe was telling me about they have camps now for adults.
Like
it's
summer
like
camp?
Adult sleepaway camp.
What?
To make friends, like legit to make friends.
Wow.
Yeah. And I was like, I get it.
I understand.
And I
totally
said to him, if we didn't go to church or have kids in daycare or soccer, like, where would we have met other adults? Like, because we were new to the area.
100%.
Like, yeah, that's the thing. It's hard. So sleepaway camp, we didn't have that. So we met in different ways.
No, we didn't have that. We didn't have that luxury because we have the tiny humans now. But yeah, so exactly. We met because neither of us are from this area. So we had to get creative in our friend building.
Let's start with you. Take me through
how I got to Western Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And what you do for work.
Sure.
Your education, all that stuff.
Yep. So I grew up in Ohio, just on the eastern border of Ohio in a small town. And I decided I wanted to go to college. I was going to become a physical therapist.
And what got you interested in physical therapy?
Great question. So I actually got hurt my junior year of high school. I had a basketball injury. I tore my MCL and did meniscus damage. So I had to go, I had to get physical therapy. And I didn't quite know at that time what I wanted to do. But after getting physical therapy, I was like, I could do this.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to do something in the medical field. My mom is still a nurse. And at that time, my sister was already in college to become a pharmacist. So she's 2 years older than I am. But we knew we were going to do something medically related. So had to go get physical therapy. And I was like, I think I could really do this. And so I got into PT school. And when I first started, or what I was going to do is I wanted to be a orthopedic PT for the Steelers. That was my dream, absolute dream. Sports PT. I'm a diehard Steelers fan, have been my entire life. My whole family is. We have season tickets in the family. And I was like, okay, this is what I want to do. So I ended up going to school at Duquesne University in Pittsburgh. And as I started going through PT school
Did you get accepted right away to Duquesne?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did. So I went in, they have a 0-6 program if you get in right as a freshman. So you actually do your undergrads in 3 years, and then PT school is 3 years after that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
so 3 years undergrad.
Yeah. So it cuts a year off as compared to if you had done your undergrads in another college and then you do PT school on top of it. So,
when you went, you didn't have to be a doctor of physical therapy for a while?
Yeah. It didn't.
And then
it
changed
at
some
some
point?
It changed. I think it was like the early 2000s. It went from being a master's to a doctor's.
Okay.
Yeah. So you did your doctorate in 3 years and then undergrad was 3 years. So it shaved a year off, which was nice. And I'm grateful for that. I loved the school, loved the program, very happy. That's where I went. But as I was going through PT school and I was getting into ortho stuff, I was like, it's boring. I wasn't in love with that sector of being PT.
Were you seeing sports or were you seeing like knee replacement? Or no, you were just in school.
Just learning. In school. Yeah. So this is like just learning hips, shoulders, joints, things like that, like all of those types of things and how to treat it. I'm like, okay, great. I loved gross anatomy and things like that. I actually was in gross anatomy, and then I TA'd the year after that because I just loved it so much.
Early, I didn't change my major because I didn't want to take anatomy. Because the other
This is
version,
where we're different.
the other version, you were required, and I was like, that class is so hard. I don't think
It's
I can do
amazing.
it.
It's absolutely.
Maybe I would have loved it. Who knows?
It's like if I think back to what I would do now, knowing what I know now, I would absolutely go get my PhD in gross anatomy just to teach it because it is. I
just very interesting
love
to you.
it so much. The human body is amazing, and if you want to
yeah.
tell me that, like, that's a whole separate thing, but like
Whole other
we are
episode.
God designed.
Yes.
God designed in a multitude of categories. But going through PT school, not thinking I was going to love ortho, not ended up really loving it as much as I was. And then I had a clinical change. Like I was 2 days away from going on a 8-week clinical, and I was supposed to be doing a adult ortho and neuro clinic.
Okay.
And my clinical instructor 2 days beforehand calls me and says, just so you know, this clinic is closed. We're now an early intervention company. And anyone who's not from Pennsylvania
How
or
do you go from that to early intervention?
I have no idea.
That's very interesting just at baseline.
It was an interesting process all of the same. I'm not entirely
you
sure.
could see what a jump that, like,
Yes.
to me, I'm like, that was you being pushed in a certain direction.
Yes, very much. And I don't know if the documentation that the college had was not up to date, accurate, because I had wanted, like, I picked this clinic to go to, and all of a sudden it was like, oh, this isn't a clinic anymore. We are an early intervention company. And if anybody who doesn't know anything about children or are not from Pennsylvania, because this is a big program here, early intervention is ages 0 to 3 children. And you go into the home and evaluate, treat, all of those things. So this is a big gap, I'm thinking I'm going into a clinic
Of
treating adults.
You're going to
And
0 to 3 years old.
now I'm going into kids, treating kids into the homes. And I will tell you, like, I had zero, less than negative desire to treat children at this time. I was like, no, I don't want to
They
do
seem
kids.
very breakable.
Yes.
No.
And I'm like, this is not within the realm
Yeah.
whatsoever. And like, I had always, like, I've been told I was good with kids, but I like didn't babysit growing up, had no desire to go into peds. So my now husband, we were dating at the time, and obviously I call him in like total hysterics. I called my clinical director at school.
I'm sure you were so mad.
Oh, I was livid. Absolutely. Like, I'm like, this is going to derail my
Oh,
career.
yeah.
This is not.
Steelers are not looking for somebody.
No,
with
they're
early
not looking for
intervention
somebody to do
experience.
this. All of those things. I'm like, this is going to be awful. This is not setting me up for the experience I need for my career. Yada, yada, yada. We can't change it now. That's unprofessional. And Brandon, my husband, again, boyfriend at the time, now husband, he was like, just wait and see. You never know, you might like it. And to this day, which it'll make sense here in a minute, that's one of his like favorite things that he was like, see, I was right.
Yeah.
You were wrong. I was right. Started
He had
clinicals.
to find something. I'm sure he's been holding on to that one forever.
When
it
we've been
doesn't happen
married.
often.
No, we've been married almost 11 years now. We've been dating almost 15, and
Still
together
is
almost
number
15.
one.
Nope, number one. He's okay. That time that I was right.
Remember that?
Remember that? Here's to that. And so I had two phenomenal clinical instructors. Another Erin and Amy. So her name was Erin and Amy, and they were phenomenal. And I fell in love with the tiny humans. They are fantastic. They are just so complex in these teeny little bodies, but you get to play and all of those things. And I actually had an adult clinical after that clinical. And during that entire adult clinical, I was like, I miss the kids. Give me back the kids. And that was 100% God moment, 100% this is what
nice
you're supposed
that
to
you
do.
did that first, even though you didn't want to, and then you were that direct comparison you could make so that you knew, I know where my heart's at, and it's not here.
Yep. And it's crazy because I've been a PT for almost, 14 years now, and my entire career has been in pediatrics now. So that clinical truly just set me on the trajectory that I have now been in. So I've worked at a small outpatient clinic. I worked at Children's Hospital Pittsburgh. I've worked at a school specific for kids with special needs. And I actually refuse to treat adults now because I'm like, no.
Yeah,
I
you
don't.
wouldn't treat me. You saw my mismatched, which I'm gotta keep an eye on that. I go to PT now.
You're doing a lot better
Erin
with it.
encouraged me. I have shoulder dyskinesia, but she told me about it. And she's, you need to go to a PT. I'm like, you're a PT, and she's, no, you should go to a PT.
You should go to somebody that's not me. Because I don't treat adults. I don't because they're just kids are resilient little creatures, and they're awesome. And I love because it keeps my ADD brain, like I never have the same day twice. It constantly it's keeping me on our feet. And in the world of PT, we all have a lot of subspecialties. You have ortho, you have neuro, you have all of these subspecialties, but in pediatrics, all of those subspecialties show up, but in teeny tiny little bodies.
Yeah.
So you have to figure out how to work with them, and also basically you become like a magician because you have to figure out how to trick them to do what you want them to do without having an absolute meltdown.
Yeah.
And correct the issue. So it really keeps my brain going 100%. And again, this is an absolute, like, looking back, taking that lens out of where I am now versus where I started, I needed all of that to do what I do now. So it just very much like the plans that God put in place put me at one point, actually, when I was leaving, I wanted to leave my first peds job. I actually was thinking I was going to have to get out of peds again. And I had just done an interview at an adult clinic, and I was like, okay, if I have to do adults, whatever. I left that interview, which I would have accepted that job had I not gotten the phone call from the hiring manager at Children's. And that was another God sign of,
no, this is the way to go.
this is where I'm supposed to go. This is what I'm supposed to do. Thinking even just 15 years of the plans that God put in place is just mind blowing at times when you sit and think about all of the pieces that you don't even see happening in the moment. But when you take that bird's eye lens view of, holy crap.
Because I think with like you're the PT, but like you also throughout that whole time were probably exposed to a lot of therapies needed for different behavioral thing and different conditions all around, which prepared you to very confidently be able to step into the next direction you were being pushed into.
Exactly. So I've been now like again treating kids, and I started going to. Let me back up. My husband and I, like I said, I was from Ohio. He was born and raised in Western Pennsylvania, and Western Pennsylvanians don't leave once they have been here. If they leave, they come back after a very short time, or they don't leave at all. We had met, and then we got married, and we weren't leaving, which is why I was like, okay, I'm now from Western Pennsylvania.
I'm Ian's here.
I'm here.
How
Yin's doing? We're going downtown, eat a Manny sandwich.
You loved Pittsburgh. You loved going to college in Pittsburgh.
Oh my gosh, it was the best. It was the best 6 years. Like, I would never trade those 6 years.
It's so funny. You were like a city girl, and then now you are up north of the city, and
we are in the country.
We're in the country now. We tell everybody what happened on the drive to the studio. Yes. So we're so far in the country that first off, my husband, the amazing Saint, he's watching all of the children at the house right now.
Good job, thank you.
So we drove from my house to the studio, and as we pull out of my driveway, we pull behind a manure truck. And I follow, that's my traffic jam, right? Is I'm behind manure trucks. And so we're driving down the hill, which is not typical. Usually the other direction is where they're from. But so we're at the bottom. I luckily stepped on the brake just a little bit more than I probably would have. And this giant glob of manure just comes up out of the truck, boom, right on the pavement right in front of us. It was disgusting.
Narrowly missing her car. Like,
Erin's there like, it's in the vents. It's in the vents. Oh my gosh, it's in the vents. And I'm like, I don't smell it that much. I'm desensitized at this point. And then it did it. Then we had to follow it a little bit more. And then it did it one more time. But that time I was definitely sure to stay.
You were prepared for that one. So, yes.
But that's where we live.
That's where we live now. Not in the city. Not in the city where I could navigate all kinds of roads, all the things. No. But yes, love the city. And yes, now we live in the country.
Yes.
Yeah. My husband and I,
when'd you get married?
We got married October 4th, 10-4.
Stop it. I'm 10-3.
You're not.
I swear. It's October 3rd. That's when Taylor is releasing an album for my
your anniversary. But it was the year before us because you guys
we
were coming
15.
Oh, you're a year after us.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we're 10-4, 20 or 10-4, 14.
Okay. Yeah, we're 10-3, 15. Oh my gosh. Didn't realize that.
Makes so much more sense now.
Now I'll never forget your anniversary.
No. But yeah, 10-4, big buddy.
Oh, 10-4.
That's the joke. 10-4,
Yes.
big buddy. So we're coming up on to 11 years. Yeah, I had to think about that. You're coming up on 10. You guys doing anything fun? Are you doing anything fun?
I counted the trip we went to Mexico for Joe's best friend's wedding as
that's fair.
as our anniversary trip earlier this year.
And then
So-
you're going on another one in January.
And then we're going to go on a cruise in January. So I think we
put
get
a
enough
pin in all that.
celebration.
We'll circle back to all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got married in 2014. We met in 2010. I got married in 2014, so we're coming on to 11 years now. And so when we first got married, Brandon had already bought his house. Like, he had bought it, fixed it, done all the things. So we lived there for a while and decided it was a smaller house. At that point, I was pregnant with our first and didn't love the school district. Just, we wanted land, didn't love the area. Let's look for something else. Started looking in our area, didn't really know where exactly we wanted to go. And we had looked at a multitude of houses. And because at that point, actually, this is a fun fact, we actually lived with my in-laws for 14 months. So we had put our house on the market and it sold within a week.
Oh, I forgot that you lived with them. Knowing them now, I see how you did.
Yes, wonderful people. I have
Yeah.
amazing in-laws.
Or how you could, I understand. Like,
We probably will have JoJo on the show at one point in time just
I
because
would love
she's
that.
just a wealth of just wonderful things. And so we lived with her. So we moved in with our oldest when he was 3 months old, as our house sold so quickly and we had nowhere else to go. And the house that we currently own and ended up buying, we actually walked away twice from in negotiations. And again, total God moments, but actually I didn't want our house. Brandon had sat empty for 2.5 years and it was on the market for 2.5 years. The family lives down in Florida and I didn't want our house. I didn't like how far away it was. Thinking of it now, because at that point I was still working at Children's. So I had a little bit of a commute.
Yeah.
It was too far north. It was too far in the woods.
yeah.
All of those things. But my husband is very handy. And he is an incredible wood craftsman. In our previous house at the time, he had gutted the kitchen and he had made all the cabinets custom, done all those things. So he painted a beautiful picture as to what our house could become, which it is. It's beautiful now and I'm very grateful. But at the time I was not having it. And
Gosh, me with a newborn was like the crankiest lady.
I was not,
It was like tread lightly, my friends.
it was not a good time. And when I think back to it, and nothing against my in-laws, but I had a newborn. I'm pretty sure I had some postpartum that I was not dealing with well
Right.
or acknowledging that it was actually postpartum. Living with my in-laws, a lot of things were in complete disarray and no control. We were living in my husband's bedroom that he grew up in.
You didn't have a basement that you were living in?
No, we were living in his bedroom. My son,
Your husband's also 6'8".
yes.
So that's hysterical.
Yes. So we went from a 3-bedroom house to a bedroom. We had trailers in the backyard that had full of our stuff. We had storage units. And also had a 3-month-old child who was a
3-month-old.
tougher human at the time. We didn't figure him out for a little bit. And so dealing with all of that, and then again, hormones, all of those things, when I think back, I'm actually I have a fair amount, I think, blocked out because I just
Yeah.
I was not in a great headspace, not in a great headspace, but nonetheless, we persevered, got the house, we bought the house, we closed on it in December, but because we were already living with my in-laws at the time, we're there's no point because we needed to do a lot of work. We gutted it. We gutted the entire main floor, took down walls. Every wall on the house had wallpaper in it that required removal.
Wow.
And I'm not being dramatic, every wall.
Gosh, wallpaper's the worst.
Closets.
Ew.
My youngest bedroom
closet?
still has it in it because I can't bring myself to
Oh.
take it down.
No.
The hallway in our
The door shut,
upstairs.
so you don't need to do that.
Oh yeah, the hallway in our upstairs had brown bag paper mache on the ceiling. That was
What
the
a design
wallpaper of
choice.
choice. I refuse. I will never put it on a wall in my home ever again because I have PTSD of taking
And I
it.
put it on one wall in my home, and it looks beautiful. But
looks
It was
beautiful.
a real test of marriage, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, try removing it. Again, kudos to my family and my in-laws because JoJo and my mom spent a lot of time.
That
removal.
generation, they're the ones who did it. They're the ones who should take it down.
They should take it down. One of the rooms had 2 layers because they didn't take it, and then
Yeah.
it took drywall down with it, so we had to repair this.
Oh, wow.
Again, and also
So lots of work.
lots of work. And if anybody has done construction at any point in their homes, that's a testament to your marriage too.
It's always supposed to take a certain amount of time, and it takes double.
And
What that
what
time
that
is.
does to your
Yeah.
marriage. And again, we had a tiny human at the time too.
Right.
So all those things. So we bought our house in December, and then we didn't actually move in until that following August. So it was like another 8 months before we like actually
get in.
moved in and stuff. But love our home now. So happy and grateful for our home. I love where we live. I love our area. I love our school district. And my husband jokes now. He goes, "Oh, if we ever move," I'm like, "I will die in this house."
This is thing number 2 that Brandon did. He was like, he made the right choice.
Yes, I know. Don't tell him that though. And if he listens to this, I
Two
guess
of the
he's
big
gonna hear
life
it. I
things, and
know. He nailed it. Nailed it.
He's really creeping up
Yes.
in numbers.
I know. Jess, tell us, how did you guys get to Saxon or to this area? Because you.
Yeah. It's funny, as you're talking, I'm thinking about sort of some similarities that we have. My mom was a nurse. I knew I wanted to go into the medical field, but I knew I didn't want to deal with blood, and I couldn't be a nurse. I knew that much. And my mom always was like, nurses have terrible shifts. Like, you don't do what I did.
Yeah.
She worked a great job. I think when I was like in 3rd grade, she got a 8 to 5 kind of thing. But prior to that, she was the shift work. So I definitely wasn't like drawn to it, especially with her being like, don't do it. I definitely didn't do it. So she was the one who told me about, there's a position at the hospital called a dietitian.
Okay.
And they work with the nutrition side of things. And I was very much into sports growing up and being healthy. Never really was the kid who, like, I had friends who would buy like the giant cookie at lunch and a tea for lunch. And that's what they would eat.
That's what they would eat.
And I never was into that. I always was like eating more of a balanced meal.
Sure. And who taught you that? Do you feel like that was your mom leading that charge? Do you feel like you just came to it?
I feel like both my parents, honestly,
Okay.
because my dad traveled when I was growing up. And so it was like, he'd be home like 5 days, gone 7, 4, gone 3, like weird stuff. And so my mom was in charge a lot of the time, and my dad was in charge of food a lot of the time when he was home. And so we always just had dinner at home.
Okay.
And it was always like a balanced meal.
Yeah.
I think when they packed me lunch, it was always like, it wasn't just packaged stuff all in there.
Sure.
There'd be soup, but I don't know. So I don't really know. That's a great question. I'm not sure where I learned
It was
that
one of
it
my
was
questions
important.
for you. Is like, how did it come to be of you? Yeah, being like this.
I honestly can't. I think it was just innate that I'm like, I shouldn't just eat a cookie. Somehow I knew my blood sugar would not respond well.
And especially if you were an athlete, you're like, I need something. Most often you were going straight from school to practice. You didn't eat in between, so you needed to fuel appropriately to some
and my
level.
mom may correct me and be like, no, Jess, you ate like trash. But I really don't remember it that way. So, Mom, you'll have to let me know if I'm lying right now.
Block it out or not.
I think then as it morphed into high school, very much got like knee deep in the culture of
Life
teen
of body
vogue.
image.
I think that's been over talked about at this point. Like
Sure.
we can all just be like, yep, know what you're talking about.
We all know why we have body image issues.
Yeah. It's not hard to figure that trajectory out.
No.
So that really, I think, as I got into high school, drove me to pay attention and care
Sure.
more in a negative way than I should have.
Sure.
I
we
can't
we all have that context, really.
yeah, I can't be mad about how my passion there grew because I love what I get to do. But like I can remember in high school before prom, I think it was before junior prom, that's when DCC Making the Team came out. I don't know if y'all watched it before it was on Netflix, but I did. Me and Kristen Kutlangus. I still will message her randomly to this day and be like, do you remember when we watched that? And we weren't dancers at all.
No,
But
still.
we were like, oh, wow, like we need to, it's so bad. But we're like, we need to lose weight for prom probably. And I remember there was a season where I would bring a Power Bar and an apple for lunch and water. That's what I had because I thought I needed to lose weight, which
Sure.
is, my parents were so positive. My parents
Yeah.
encouraged me. They were never negative. No one ever told me that I looked a certain way. No one ever pressured me one way or another. It's just like it's really that influence.
Oh, yeah.
I just sucked it up and sucked it in. And I think I was like in it from there. I'm like, I need to know how this works.
Sure.
Like nutrition, calories. I'm like desperate to understand what the heck's going on inside our bodies and how we process everything. And I think too, desperate for a healthier way to think
Absolutely.
about stuff, honestly. And so I shadowed a dietitian. She was a renal dietitian. And so she very much used labs too. And what I loved was she could catch her patients in a lie if they were lying to her about what foods they were eating because it showed up on their like weekly lab work.
Right.
And she's, no, you've definitely been eating a ton of potassium. We need to talk about this. And
Right.
they're like, no, I haven't. And so I loved that. So I went to I applied to Penn State first as business because by that point I hadn't shadowed the dietitian. My brother applied as business, so I was just like a little follower.
Sure.
And I was like, whatever my brother did, I'm going to do. It worked for him, it'll work for me. So I applied and I got put onto a branch campus. Placed there instead. And I remember falling down in the kitchen when I got that letter because everyone was talking about their letters they were getting. And this one girl got her Penn State acceptance one, and she told me it came in a big envelope. And I got a letter from Penn State in a little envelope. And I was like, no. And I was by myself home. My brother was at college. My mom's at work. My dad's at work. And I opened it and I sobbed on the kitchen floor. I was like, my life is over. This is it. I'm done. This is it. I can't ever do what I want. And so I think I called my brother first, so upset. And he, in times of chaos, is like a really good, calm person. And so he was like, Jess, it's fine. This is what we're going to do. You don't even want to do business. So you're going to reapply as nutrition and we'll see what happens then. It's fine. Like, you don't even want to be in business. Like, why are you mad you didn't get placed there? Like, that's not what you want to do. So I calmed down, I reapplied, and I got accepted to main campus for nutrition.
Hey.
I had to do summer session, which ended up being amazing. So I went the summer before freshman year started for everyone else.
Okay.
So I got a feel for the campus. I met people, loved it.
So you had friends coming in. That's nice.
Yes. Yeah, like I picked my roommate coming in and stuff. And so I just really enjoyed all those classes. I knew this is what I was supposed to do because that's what I paid attention in.
Sure.
Econ, not so much.
No. Ooh.
Oh gosh.
Ugh.
Yeah. I had an A in that class until I took the final. And I passed with a B barely. But nevertheless, nutrition was the right way to go. I worked really hard to have a good experience in the area. I was never somebody who had a really great GPA. Like I had a good GPA.
Sure.
But I remember sitting in with my student advisor senior year, and she looked me straight in the eye and you are never going to get an internship. Because as a dietitian, you have to apply for an internship and you have to work a year in an internship or 9 months and get experience in all these different areas. And then you take a national board exam to be certified. And so the internships back in 2011 were really competitive.
Yeah.
She told me I'd never get in. And
why?
Because I had a 3.2 and 3.2 was not good enough for
what the heck?
Brenda. So Brenda,
listen here, Brenda.
I sometimes want to find her and be like, I was successful. A little petty, a little bit of petty comes out. But it was really mean. It was like, why? She was more worried about Penn State's nutrition program getting a ding that somebody applied and didn't get accepted, because they had at that point like a 90% acceptance rate to internships.
I gotcha.
It's one of your selling points whenever you like have your program, people picking from
terrible.
it. So I was like, great, I'll show you.
Yeah.
I almost enjoy when people are like
Tell me I'm
that,
not gonna
because
do
I'm like,
something.
tell me. Oh yeah, we're going to make it work.
Uh-huh.
So I applied, and like I said, I had great work experience. I interview well.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I want to do a podcast. I feel like I'm like real normal, and I don't know, I understand or different perspectives. Like I love learning stuff. So I got accepted to Penn State's internship. So
Take that, Brenda.
I know. I was like, Brenda, do you see where I'm going? They liked me.
Did you send it to her?
No, oh my gosh. I'm just petty on the inside. I don't let it come out.
That's the difference between you and I. I would absolutely afford that.
That is the difference, yeah. So I was very excited. We took one of those strengths finder things.
Oh, yeah.
And woo was one of mine, which is like winning others over. Mm-hmm. That's one of the things that they really liked about me. Mm-hmm. So it was interesting that the reason they thought I'd be a really good dietitian is because of my people skills.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily because like I could tell you exactly how the Krebs cycle works.
Sure.
I can't tell you that right off now.
What ChatGPT's for. And I'll tell you.
So, yeah, so I got accepted, did my internship. My husband and I met at Penn State my sophomore year. And so we'd been dating for years. He got a job out in Wisconsin. And I took that as a time to be like, I'll apply in Wisconsin and I'll apply here. And we'll see where I get accepted and let that lead.
Yeah.
And so I accepted the job, offered a job. So I got offered a job in Wisconsin first. So I was like, yes, I get to go be near my boyfriend.
Yay!
So I'm going to move out there. So we lived in Wisconsin for 6 years. And this is where that comment of, is it me, really started forming, because my first job was in food service, school nutrition. Really disliked that environment.
It was not your favorite.
No, the boss of that was one of the most catty, petty people I've ever met. And she really ruined that whole experience.
Was she friends with Brenda?
They didn't even know each other. I was like, is it me? Is it me? Am I just expecting too much out of human beings? I don't know. And I have so many friends from that first job. So if they're listening, they're probably going to laugh. But then I got a job at the University of Wisconsin's athletic department, which was really fun. I worked there for a while, but it was food service. I started and ran like a healthy eating cafe, did all the recipe development and stuff. So it was really fun for a while until it was like running. Yeah. And it was just like I was a manager and that wasn't my passion area. So then I decided I wanted to go back into clinical, but literally nobody would hire me because I was out of clinical and I worked in food service and I didn't have the knowledge to go into a patient room. I had to decide to go back to get my master's degree, and my husband and I had just got married at that time. So October of 15, we got married, and I shortly thereafter in December was like, I think I need to quit and go back to school. This man, I tell you, he is the most supportive person that you will ever meet. And he was just great. Like, okay. And so I quit, I went back to school, and I was able to start working PRN jobs. So just jobs to fill in for other dietitians as needed to get some clinical experience. Sure. I really was playing the long game of trying to set myself up for the better when we moved back to Pennsylvania, because we knew whenever we wanted to start a family, we weren't going to live in Wisconsin. We were going to come back closer to people in PA. And so I think I did a great job. That's exactly what I needed to do. But it just did make me feel like I just job hopped for a while. And so when we moved back, we looked at houses in Hershey area, Harrisburg, Hershey area, which is where I'm from, and then around Western PA. And so it got to the point where like we wanted land, and Harrisburg, Hershey area land was more expensive.
Oh, for sure.
Than, or at least the places we would want to live out there, than it was out here. Yeah. So we definitely honed in then on Western PA. And once we toured the house we toured, I said to Joe, I'm like, they either staged this house super well, or I literally am getting a vibe that this is a positive, warm, calm place. And I think for me, calm was so important. I just want, in my life, I just want it to be calm. I don't like chaos. It's not my jam. So when I felt that, I feel like, but you're like funny chaos. You're not like making my stomach upset with anxiety chaos. Okay. And if you do annoying things, I can tell you, like, geez, Erin. So yeah, I just felt calm. So we decided that was our house and we moved forward with it. And yeah, so then I was unemployed and pregnant when we first moved here. And I sounds just like a country song if I've ever heard it. Yeah, unemployed and pregnant. I was married at least. It's true. So I think that we'll go into a postpartum episode at some time, or even just a depression episode. But I had made the decision to stop taking my depression medicine when I was pregnant because I was like, if something's wrong with this baby's brain, I just couldn't handle it. So bad choice.
Not a strong choice.
Shouldn't have been the martyr there.
Yeah.
So I was really depressed, not handling things well, but got through that season. I got a job at a local hospital, loved that position, and worked there for a long time until I got pregnant with my second. By this time I was in a much better headspace. I had treated the problem and I then started my own business because I was really, clinical is great if you're doing like IV feeds or tube feeding. It's like science and you're looking at labs and it's fun like that. But if you're just going in and giving someone like a quick diabetes education, it is the least exciting thing. You are not very effective when it's like just diagnosed with diabetes and you're like, here's all the things you can't eat. So I wanted to work with people long term. And so I started my own business where I counseled people one-on-one, and I called myself like a nutrition coach. I didn't accept health insurance. And so I did that for a couple years until I felt like I was just like an Instagram salesperson and I was just exhausted selling my services of this coaching. And so I found a job private practice where they did the exact same thing. They cared about the exact same principles I cared about, but she accepted health insurance and she could help me do that. I made that switch. And then it came to this point where we talked about there was just this fork in the road of I don't think I can stay here. I need too much. I need creative freedom. I need freedom just like with the kids and what they need right now. And so I decided to leave, and I'm back on my own as Reach Health, and it's been really exciting. I started seeing one new client. Exciting. And she's doing great. And so I still love what I get to do. It's just, like I said, it's always been a decision that there's a reason I make it. But yeah, so we moved out here in 2018, and didn't really make friends for a while. I reached out at church and asked the staff, like, do you have a young moms group? Because I really wanted community. And so that's kind of where I started with trying to find friends, was through church. Because at this point, like, we were all in on going to the church that we picked. Right. And that, I think, is a really good, a whole good experience of, they didn't have a young moms group. They still don't.
No, they still don't.
But I understand why. It'd be really hard.
It would be really hard.
But we got put into a group with a couple of different people and couples, and it was great. And that leads us to Met, which this group ended up being called the Young Married Couples Group.
Yes.
And for a while, it wasn't that big.
No.
Until
when we joined, it was.
When you
joined, it was a lot. That we were meeting once a month, and we would have to ask Mark, like, at its highest, as to what, like, the highest cap there was as to.
There had to have been at least like 16 or.
I think there's at least 20 couples.
Yeah.
So there's at least 20 couples. So the church that we came into, love our church, and we were attending a bigger church in the area that we moved in from, and then wanted to find just one closer, one smaller, wanted that community. Again, I wasn't from here. And so I just was desperate. And I say that, I was like, oh, I'm desperate for friends. But I really was. Like, literally was desperate for friends. I didn't grow up here. I didn't go to high school here. The town or in the area that we live in, you were either, a lot of people were that way, that like they've either lived here their whole lives or they moved here. And so trying to find those people, and again, like we talked about, that difficulty of
now you have a kid too.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that, do we have?
You would have had your second because.
Yes, because it was
2018.
2018. Yes, because he was born in fall of 2018. Yes, correct. And so 2 young kids, and trying to find people that you drive with, full-time job, trying to find people you get along with, trying to find people. And again, this is something that I feel like needs to be touched about. Not only do we need to get along, our kids need to be able to get along, but our husbands need to be able to get along. And that's a huge thing. And I don't think I really thought about that, I think, until later. Yeah. Like, of also getting, like, finding his people. I always talk about trying to find, like, my tribe or my group. And there's, like, our friend group now jokes that I tried to start a gang, but it turned into a book club. But I really was.
No, you tried to start a book club and it turned into a gang. Right?
Oh, is that what it is? No, I tried to start a gang and it turned into a book club.
Oh, okay.
I think. I'll have to read the raccoon shirt. Hold on. We'll put a pin in that one.
Yeah. Either way, it's funny.
Either way. Yes, because it's true. But I was desperate for community. And so we joined the same group. It was the Young Married Couple, and it was at least 20 couples. And the thing about this group is that our church, like, I think we all came at once.
Yeah.
And
it really feels like it, at least.
This group was huge. And the thing about it is that we all decided to have kids at the same exact time too. So when
huge blessing, and also
amazing blessing, phenomenal. You want to see this happening in a church that this is growing, but you bring in 20 couples, 25 couples, that everybody has at least 2 kids, if not more than that, all under the ages of 10. At that point, it was like under the ages of 5. Like, to the point, like, when we started, our, like, nursery staff came to us and were like, you guys can't meet anymore because they're, like, in tears because there are so many kids.
So many of them. They're so little.
At this age, we can't. We had started, I want to say the fall of 19 was when we started in the group. Because I think the Christmas.
So there was a Christmas party. This is where I first came across Erin. So Joe and I still were getting to know people at church, knew a couple couples pretty well, but not everyone that was in this Young Married Couples group. And so we're sitting in this big square, all the tables set up. So we're all in this huge square, and we're doing the white elephant. And Erin and her husband are in a corner, and I think Joe and I were, like, at the opposite corner, so I couldn't really
You were, like, caddy
see them.
corner. You were, like, caddy from us. We were sitting at the long
you guys
side.
were so tall, so I could see you. Yes. So you were tall, but they were so loud. It's like, Joe and I are quiet people. We're not very loud human beings. And so I just remember telling Joe, who was that couple in the corner? Because they were just Like, everyone seemed to know them. They were so loud. How do we not know who they are? And he's, I don't know. Yeah, they were really loud.
Which is so funny to me. That adds up. I'm a very loud human. I'm a very big personality. But Brandon is not. Like, Brandon is like introvertedly extroverted. In those type of situations, he typically is very introverted.
He felt comfortable at White Elephant.
Apparently, like very
competitive.
comfortable.
Maybe the competitive.
I think that may have been it too. That may have been it too. But he was like, he typically in those situations are not loud. Me, yes, that's a bona fide. I'm loud in every category, every situation I ever get put in. He is not. So for you to have that like perception of him too just makes me laugh
I
even
remember
more.
being nervous and being like, I don't think those people would like me. I don't know why.
Why?
I have this.
Because we're so loud?
Right, I'm so quiet. No. We'll probably dig into this at some point. I don't have the best self-confidence in all areas of my life.
I don't understand that.
I cover it up real well. Don't worry. But I remember just being like, I don't think that they would like us.
Which is very humorous now.
Which is funny because, yeah, for real, we're like so similar. But yeah, so that, and then that day happened.
We need to
and
pivot
then,
to the White Elephant though.
Oh, the White Elephant. So that was how you should have known that you'd be friends.
That is actually
With
why.
us.
I absolutely should have. So if anybody doesn't know what a White Elephant like party gift is, you bring honestly crap from your house and you wrap it up and it gets exchanged between people and you can trade for it, you can get it back, you can do all this. So like we walk in, which is also funny. This couldn't have been our first. Maybe it was our first because we now have several of your White Elephant gifts in our camp. So maybe it was years after. I think that's what it was because we took 2 years off because of COVID. But anyway, so this White Elephant, we walk in and Jess and Joe are sitting at this table and they have their White Elephant gift present with them. And it's massive. It's this bag wrapped.
Oh, yeah.
Like it's big.
It's, yeah.
Big.
Big
And I turn to Brandon. I remember saying to him, what in the world is in that bag? And this...
It was so heavy.
It was heavy. It was big. It got traded for multiple times. I feel like before it got
Gift
opened.
of the night for sure.
It was the gift of the night. And what's hilarious now, so this has happened, 5 years ago, is this gift still exists on our friend's front porch. And their children on their first day of school get a picture with this gift.
Every year.
Every year. So it gets unleashed that it is a giant ceramic owl.
Huge.
Ceramic owl, like big. But you have to tell the story as to how it came to be.
Why would I have a huge ceramic owl?
Why do you need
in
a
my
ceramic
house?
owl?
So I was very excited to bring it for that White Elephant because I wanted it out of my house. So my husband, I love him so much. He's the sweetest guy. He calls me from a yard sale and I know you've been wanting one of those owls that keeps birds away because we used to have a lot of swallows. Is that the bird? Make nests under our back deck. And so every year there'd be like 7 nests and there's all these birds and there's poop everywhere. It was driving me nuts. So I'm like, Joe, everyone has one of those like owls. It seems to help. Let's get one of those little owls at Walmart, which I think is probably like $5. And he's okay. Yeah, let's just keep our eyes out at a yard sale because my husband is incredibly frugal. So I'm not fighting on this. Like, I'm not going to not that passionate about it. So he finally calls me from this yard sale and he's like, there's an owl here. Do you want me to get it? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Do you think it would work? Can you FaceTime me? And he's okay. So he FaceTimes me and it's blurry because there's no Wi-Fi. And he's, here it is, holds it up. Here it is. It's on the table. I'm like, okay, it looks like an owl. Go ahead, get it. And then he comes home and he gets out of the car this gigantic ceramic owl. And I'm like, dude, you think I can put that on the back porch railing? If that falls, it's going to kill somebody.
It's going to hit a kid. It's going to take a kid out for sure.
I was just like, what were you thinking? And he's, you said you wanted it. So we had this stupid owl in our house for a year. And then finally there was a White Elephant and he's, we got to take the owl.
Got to take the owl.
So thankfully we took the owl and got it out of my house. And now it sits on our friend's front porch and they were forever part of their family.
Yes, because of the owl.
Because of the owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you were probably like, those people are fun.
Yeah.
They have ceramic owl.
Yes.
Why would they have that?
And I think because then it was after that, shortly after that, because then COVID hit. So we didn't meet again for a while, but for somehow it must be other white elephants after that subsequently, because we have several, I think we have 2 duck decoys
yes.
at our camp.
That's always my first choice for a white elephant. I'm like, hey, do you have any more ducks out there? Because we have 90 duck decoys.
Which speaks to my husband, because my husband is a huge hunter. And so anytime a duck decoy is brought, I want that. And I'm getting...
We need that decoy.
We need that decoy.
Which then years go by.
Yes.
And we kind of like cross paths again at soccer.
Yes.
Kids soccer.
Mm-hmm.
U6 soccer. You're a coach. My husband's a coach. We like do the little small talk.
Hey,
how's your week?
Yeah. Getting to know each other. But even at that point in time, we still I didn't even have your phone number yet.
You didn't follow me on Instagram?
No. And I think it was like 2023 is when I started following you on Instagram, liking some posts, sliding into DM, doing that.
Sliding into my DMs.
Sliding into her DMs.
That food looks good.
Yeah.
Your workouts, good job.
Yes, good job. Way to get after it. And so it was like, I think it was when did we set the boys up on a date?
The 4th of July.
4th of July. So we were at our friend's house for 4th of July. And even at that point, I don't think we had really, like, you and I hadn't solidified friendship. I think we were honestly waiting to see if the boys got along. And so my husband is a huge hunter. If it has a heartbeat, he hunts for it at all times. Like, it's all the time. And I think fellow hunters are always looking for fellow hunters. If you can hunt together, like, you're golden. And so Joe is also a hunter. So we were like, okay.
They both like to hunt.
Can we?
Maybe they'd like each other.
Yeah. Can we set them up? So we set them up on their
turkey hunt.
On a turkey hunt, on a turkey date. And
it was so funny when Joe got back from that. I'm like,
how'd it go?
Did you plan to have fun? What did you guys talk about? And he's, Jess, we're hunting. We didn't talk. And I'm like, on the way, maybe like on the way out of the woods, did you say anything? Nope.
Hardly talked to each other.
But we had a great time. I'm like, okay, well, as long as you had a great time not talking.
Yes.
Whatever.
I did the same thing to Brandon. I was like, did it go okay? Do you like him? Like, total thing. And I think then when they did, then obviously I think that it solidified us in moving forward in our friendship, that we were like, okay, we can invest in this, because you don't want to invest, because who has extra time? If you're going to invest in something, I got to go like one full tilt, and I don't piddle paddle around. So if I don't want to waste my time. So that was in 2023, but I don't think we got phone numbers. You and I didn't get phone numbers until like September of 2023.
Yeah, you asked a mutual friend of ours for my phone number.
I asked you for your digits.
It's so funny because it is like dating. Where
It is.
So then I forget what you text me and you're like, I just got your number from Kristen because I feel like it's so much easier than DMs.
It was. I think it was September. I've written down September of 2023 is when we sent like our first text messages to each other.
Funny.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But now the rest is history.
The rest is history. I feel like so much of anyone can make friends this way. Like, it was a slow burn friendship.
Very much. It's a very
So it took a while. But I think within that, you keep showing up for each other. You ask questions about someone's life. You be a normal person. But yeah, I think that did I say this on the first one, that I like appreciate how much you've taught me to be a good friend again.
Thank you.
After being a mom, because I think that when again, we didn't know anyone when we moved here either. So none of my friends were local. So like at that time, all my friends were long distance, and you check in with each other, but you don't really know what's happening week to week in someone's life. I have since started that with 2 of my friends, which I'm glad we did, but you know everything that's like going on day to day with the kids. And so you're like, we're really good about checking in. And I was like, I want to be that kind of friend too.
Thank you. I can tell you that's not always been my case. I think we talked about this, like, for so many years, you are not your own. Like, you have tiny humans who are solely dependent on you. And this isn't slighted towards anybody as a working mom. You literally have the capacity to work your kids and not even on your husband at that point in time. Like, you are in such a tunnel that you don't have the capacity.
It's all hard. There's so many learning curves.
Exactly. And so I feel like we are I'm a little bit ahead of you in that capacity. My kids are just, my youngest and her oldest are the same age. So I have just like an extra year and a half of bubble on you. But who actually, so one of my very best friends, Kelly, she is like 9 years older than me. And so when I am in the thick of motherhood, she had just come out of hers. And she honestly taught me, and she still to this day is one of the best people reflections of a friendship, that like of that checking in. Hey, how are you? What's going on? I haven't seen you in a while. There would be moments that I would go a week and a half before responding to text messages, because you don't have the capacity. So like we're now coming into being into that ability to develop that community. And so I will be the first person to tell you I was not always a good friend, and can say that wholeheartedly. And so if I can help in that capacity, and to, like I said, you're still in it a little bit with your youngest, and that we're now getting to that, to have the capacity for friendships. But yeah, I am grateful that I can walk into your house and I know where a plate is, and I put my something in the dishwasher. You walk in, you have lunch with Brandon. I am so beyond grateful that I have that, like that I have you, and that I have this friendship that you know it's not on a superficial level. Like it is a much deeper level of what's going on. Be like, no, I had a crap day today. Tell me about your day.
Well, I think that right there is where faith really makes a big difference in what, just in our relationship, all of our friendships, like being able to just really share the really hard stuff. And my kids traveled this past week and without me and without my husband, so with my in-laws, and it was really hard. And I had people to text that I knew when I said, can you please pray for my kids, that they would actually stop and just pray for my kids right then.
Yep.
And it wasn't like just pray for them. It was like, no, these people are really they really care about me. They care about my family, and they're going to pray. And I think that because of that deep faith, we're just so much more able to share all of our bad parts
all
too,
of our ugly parts,
and things that we're like, not proud of,
how that went.
I could have done better. Really, I think a lot of times people, what's the saying where you like gotta have people that'll call you out or whatever, tell you when you're doing something wrong.
Sure, that they'll have people that are gonna straighten your crown, but also tell you like, or they're also willing to humble you, and the same, like you could have done that better.
Yeah, I'm not good at being humbled. I don't think I've had to do it to me yet. Maybe just with my anxiety or my like lack of confidence, that you're just like, Jess.
That's I would 100% call you out on that. Yeah, I know I have.
So in those ways, I feel like that's the way, because there's just so much respect. I'm really going to listen to what you have to say, because I really think that at your core, you have the same beliefs and the same desire that I do, living for God first and trying to bring more people there. And
no, absolutely. I couldn't agree with that more. And also finding those, like our group of friends that, one, we know have the same values and systems, but we're also willing to talk about it. I think we are all very open in our faith, which is phenomenal. I don't feel like that's always been an okay thing. I feel like sometimes if you were a Jesus follower, it was almost, you belong to Jesus. Okay. Then we could be friends, but it wasn't like this outspoken thing. And I am just overtly outspoken in general. And I can honestly tell you that I have not always been, which is kind of shocking. I was probably a bit more subdued in my younger years, and things about myself has brought it out more. But I love finding, and we'll get to this kind of in community talk, of building that community. But our biggest pin of all of our relationships is our faith. How important it is to all of us, and how important it is that we're raising our families in Christ, and that we all have that big layer in what it goes into. And then I think it really bleeds into like our relationships and our husbands' relationships and those things, and how important it is with them too. And so that just having that God is the 4-point most important thing is great. I can honestly say I don't think I've had that type of relationship maybe ever in my friendships that I've had in high school and even growing up. Yes, that was a part, but like to have a group of women who have that mindset,
who want to get together and pray first.
Yes,
and then
like
do something.
When we were on our girls trip just in February, and like we were making dinner, and just it was not even that we prayed, and we prayed before dinner, and that, like we said, there's been multiple moments of last year my kiddos were in an accident involving school. They were fine, everybody was okay, but throw it in the text messages like, hey, my boys are on that bus. And like you just said, it wasn't just praying with prayer hands, you faking it. It was very much there were prayers going up to heaven on those matters. And so that having those people who aren't blood family but are family by choice I am beyond grateful for. So
yeah, and you gotta work to find that.
Yeah, it's hard.
We're on the other side of the work currently, so it sounds maybe like annoying to listen to for some people who are like, probably, I would love that.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Sign me up. But I think hopefully you recall what did we say, 2019 we met?
Yeah.
And this is 2025.
2025.
So it takes time, and you have to pour into other people in order to have something grow.
Right.
All those things.
All those euphemisms.
All that you see on Instagram. Unfortunately, some of them are really accurate.
Yeah.
So yeah. So yeah, we're going to keep exploring that. And
Yes.
I think that's what we wanted to talk about today.
Yes, that was what we were going to talk about. And one of the other things that we were talking about, and I would say, and you would probably agree with me too, is that when we were just talking about our lives and how we got here, our faith being a part of the decisions that we were at that led us to where we are, led us to the church that we're at, led us to the friends that we have. And I'm sure in any of those points, those decisions, there were anxieties, there were nerves, there were things that we were uneasy about in those transitions. And so we always want to bring back just either a Bible verse that the episode relates to, or just how, again, this relates back to our faith. And this is us talking about Philippians 4:6. So do not worry about anything, instead pray about everything. And as we were just talking about of how important prayer is, and if you don't have a prayer walk in your life, we obviously encourage that. And we'll talk more about that in later episodes. But talking about giving everything over to God, and not only giving it to him, but keeping it there and not taking it back.
The Instagram reel from Lindsay Girk, I believe, comes to mind, where she's like in the passenger seat, and she's, when Jesus is driving, and she's like, you want to, just take it back. Okay. And she's like, back and forth. Just kidding.
And that's
kidding. You got it. You
right.
got it. It's so funny, but so accurate.
And so hard. But again, we are called to do not worry about anything. And it's that pray without ceasing, pray about everything, and how important prayer is. And that when we are feeling anxious, when we are feeling worried, that give it to God, put it at the feet of Jesus, and to leave it there, and having that reminder that he has it and we don't need to have it. That's equally hard.
That brings me to my positive thing that happened this week,
Yes.
which is so funny because that is exactly what I had to do. My kids traveled without me, and they got home safely.
Yes.
They last night were both sleeping upstairs, and I just could breathe so much easier.
Oh, I'm sure.
And that is a testament to prayer, spousal support. My husband was very kind while I was having a hard time, sobbing on the drive home after we dropped them off. Ugly sobbing. He felt so bad, he went and got me a Starbucks.
Oh.
He was like, do you need some coffee? I was like, you feel so bad, you're gonna buy me a $6 coffee right now? Yes, I want one.
Yes, please. That'll make it all better.
But I very much throughout the entire week was just praying for safety, health for everyone on the trip. And then, like I said, I reached out to people and said, please just keep my kids in your prayers. So that was my really positive thing that happened.
That was a good positive. That's a really good positive. We were on vacation, and our weather wasn't ideal, but at one point in time, I was sitting on the beach, wrapped in a towel. I had a hat on. It was pouring, sitting in a chair. My husband and my boys were in the ocean, boogie boarding, having the time of their lives. And I looked up, and I said to myself, I was like, God, just thank you. Because this has probably been I could admit to say that this has probably been a perspective shift for me, that this summer, and we'll probably talk about this summer, just of all the things and great things and opportunity that has been. But for me to say, yes, this weather is crummy. I could be sitting in the beach house, but I'm not. I'm just going to sit here and just watch my kids have the time of their lives. And it's okay. Just to say, God, thank you. that we're here, we have this opportunity, because some people don't, and to just enjoy it and make the most of it. And again, you're the only one who can change the weather. This is happening for a reason.
I am a firm believer. I love that. But I'm a firm believer. The worse the weather, the better the memory. We went to a concert earlier this summer, and it was downpouring. It was to see Nickelback, and it was delayed. And we went back when the lightning was over. It was downpouring, and they're playing like Photograph as we come in. And it was just, I'll never forget it. It was so fun. We were laughing so hard. It was so muddy. It was terrible, but it was so memorable. When Joe and I got married, a hurricane was coming through, and so it was pouring rain, and our photographer was able to take us out at night and get this really awesome backlit photo.
The pictures in your house.
And yes,
I didn't
the
realize
picture,
that. Yeah.
it's not stars, that's rain.
Wow.
And it was so memorable.
Yeah.
And the rain didn't ruin the day. If anything, it makes the memory more clear, because it was bad weather. And so I whenever something goes wrong for some reason now in my old age, I'm just like, yeah, this sucks, but we're probably the kids will remember this more
Absolutely.
than if it was
right.
They'll remember that day on the beach,
Yes,
more than any sunny day, I bet.
absolutely. And then they've talked about it. They're like, Mom, you remember when it was raining and we were in the ocean and you were sitting there? And even Brandon came up to me. He was like, this is either like you being a boy mom, and you're like, I'm just going to embrace it, because the soccer season this year was terrible and freezing and rain, and we just are used to playing in the rain now, and like just embracing this, or like you're being stubborn and saying, nope, I'm at the beach, I'm going to enjoy the beach no matter what. And I was like, I think it's probably a combination of it all, but also just this perspective of, you know what, I'm here with my family.
What more could I want?
What more could I want?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Not getting tan, but that's okay.
That's all right. I made
It's
up
good
for
for my
it.
skin.
Melanin will thank me later.
Yeah.
All those things. So, yes. So the other thing that we wanted to do at the end of every episode, which we didn't do at the first one, but we're going to do now, is that we just wanted to end in prayer. And
If you're driving, don't close your eyes.
Yes, don't close your eyes. Jesus, take the wheel. Let's not put like true.
Not literally.
Let's not. Yeah, exactly. And just to uplift everyone in prayer and end each episode with that. Bow your heads, except if you're driving, don't. Dear Heavenly Father, God, we are so grateful and thankful for you, God, and for your Son. We just want to thank you for this opportunity that we have, that hopefully our words can touch somebody, that we can be a reflection and a light to bring someone to you, God. We lift up the woman who is listening, God. Bring her some peace, so that potentially maybe she doesn't feel alone, or that she feels uplifted in whatever potentially we are talking about, God. And we are just so thankful for this opportunity. We are so thankful for your Son, Jesus. And in Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thanks, Erin.
Thanks, Jess.
All right. We'll see y'all next week.